Expectations. We all have them. Guys, Cliff Ravenscraft here with another post-workout reflection from the front seat. And today I want to talk to you about expectations. And whether they're realistic expectations or if they're unrealistic expectations, the fact is we all expect something from the things that are going on in our lives. We have expectations in the relationships with our loved ones. We have expectations when it comes to the results we're going to get with anything that we do in our business. We have expectations on maybe what God is going to do in our lives. We have expectations on practically everything. And it probably won't come as a shock to you to understand that our expectations are not always met. And this oftentimes can lead to frustration, anger, maybe depression, anxiety, worry, doubt, lack of self-confidence. Oh my gosh, it can go on and on and on. And here's the deal. One thing that I've learned recently, and by the way, when I say I've learned it, I'm still really processing it and experiencing the implementation of this in my life. So any of these things that I'm sharing with you, it's not like I've got all of this stuff down and I'm living a perfect life every single day. I keep hearing people say, you know what, people only put the best versions of themselves in social media. You know, I like to think that I put a majority of my authentic true self in being transparent. So I don't want to come off as saying, hey, I'm sharing all these insights with you, now go live perfectly like I live perfectly. That's not me. That's not who I am. So but one thing that I've learned is that I actually have control in my life, that or at least the potential of control. I can choose how I react to when things don't go according to my expectations. And so I can be upset or frustrated, depressed, all of those things that I mentioned earlier, or I can choose to do one thing every single time, or at least attempt to anyway, and that is to exchange expectation for appreciation. I learned a while ago that we do have the control, we have the ability to control our emotional state. We can choose what we focus on, we can choose what we're feeling inside. And one of the things that was proposed is that you can't be filled with gratitude and thankfulness at the same time as being depressed, angry, or emotionally hurt in a very deep way. I'll say that again. You can't experience anger and frustration at the same time that you are feeling an overwhelming sense of gratitude and appreciation. I recently had a friend of mine who backed out of a pretty significant event that I was really excited about. I mean, I had been planning this for so long, and I was so excited that I gathered this group of people together to experience this event together. And it was going to be an experience that I knew for a fact that for everyone involved, it was going to be a game changer. It was going to be a day that it would be an experience that we would all remember. And I had, it's like, to convince all of these people to make this commitment to come to this place took a lot of work. But it was worth it, right? And so, put a lot of time, effort, and energy pulling all this stuff off. And then I get a communication from one of my friends that says, hey, I'm very sorry, but I'm not going to be able to experience this with you. And here's why. Not that I'm not able to, I'm choosing not to, and here's why. Now, I got to tell you, my expectation was that we were going to experience this together. I had actually envisioned what life was going to be like after the event and how it was just going to be an incredible thing. And that was my expectations. And now all of a sudden, what happens? How do I feel now that this person has communicated to me that expectation is not going to be reality for me? And I could have chosen to, by the way, this is one time, not that I do this every time, but this is one time where I was able to immediately put into action when, here's the thing. When things do not go according to my expectations, I will trade my expectation for appreciation. And I will tell you, as soon as that email came in, which came, I think, with a video message or something like that, or maybe it came via text. Actually, it was a video via text message. And so it was more personal than an email. And I responded and said, hey, no problem. I completely understand. And I responded, hey, you know what? I'm not hurt. I'm not upset. What I will tell you is that I appreciate you, and I appreciate the fact that what you mean in my life, all that you've done for me, and just who you are, and I value our friendship. And what I chose to do in that moment is not focus on how my expectations were not going to be met, but instead I chose to focus on not that this friend, quote unquote, let me down. All right, because I don't want to assume that. But instead of focusing on defining that as my friend letting me down or backing out on something or not fulfilling some kind of commitment that really wasn't a commitment, except for the fact that, anyway, you get what I'm saying. But instead, what I decided to focus on is, man, how many times has this friend of mine been there for me? How many times have I been able to lean on this guy's shoulder? How many times has this man done things to go out of his way to add value to my life? And when I think about all of those things, I'm filled with an overwhelming sense of gratitude. And all of that far outweighs and exceeds any failed expectations that are not going to be met. And this is something that radically altered the way that day could have played out. Because this message came in early in the morning one day. And so I could have allowed that to put me in a bad mood. It could have kept me, being in a bad mood could have kept me from achieving some of the productive things that I wanted to do that day. It might have actually changed the way that I approached, a couple conversations, maybe with my wife when I got home or with my kids. I could have actually went down a completely different road or a different path that day. But because I chose to just in the moment, successfully that day, not that I do this every day, but in that moment, I was able to successfully, instantly trade my expectation for appreciation. I experienced joy, happiness, abundance that day. And I have the ability to choose to do that whenever my expectations are not met. I do not achieve success every single time. Although I will tell you that more and more, sometimes I allow my expectations when they're not to get met. I find myself not exchanging them for appreciation immediately. I experience a little frustration, sometimes anger, sometimes fear, sometimes doubt, sometimes a little worry, anxiety, and all. I'm a human being, but every single time I know for a fact that I have the ability to exchange those expectations for appreciation. And when I focus on the things that I'm thankful for, all the things that are going right in my life, all the things that go, maybe not directly from that thing. Sometimes you might think, well, where else has this person, maybe the failed expectation is somebody who's always letting you down, right? So how can I do it if I can't think of any time this thing has ever gone right? Well, it's not. You can trade your expectation for appreciation in other areas. Think about how many other areas of your life do go right. How many things that you do have that are just a blessing. The fact that we have, maybe you're blessed to have all of your limbs. Do you know how many people in life today don't have an arm or a leg or some, Nick Vujicic, and I know I'm saying his name incorrectly. He doesn't have any arms, any legs, and he's one of the most encouraging people on this planet. It's incredible. So trade expectations for appreciation when those expectations are not met. And when your expectations are met, journal them, remember them, so that later you can come back to them and appreciate them when other expectations aren't. That's my thought for today. Guys, until next time, I encourage you to take every area of your life, including your mindset and what you focus on, to the next level.